Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. The circle graph above shows the distribution of the subjects in a certain high school. If there are 136 more students taking algebra than geometry, how many more students are taking geometry than calculus? Okay, let me assume X as the total number of students. That is, let X be the total number of students. Let me write the stuff over here. Total number of students. Okay, in this X number of students, 38% students are taking algebra and 21% students are taking geometry. Okay, now let me write the stuff over here. That is, the number of students who are taking algebra equals to 38 percentage of X. Okay, we can write this 38% as a decimal, then I'm getting 0.38. And whenever we have the word OF in mathematics, it can be written as multiplication. That is 0.38 times X. So this represents the number of students who are taking algebra. Okay, now let me write the number of students who are taking geometry. Let me write it. So to get the number of students who are taking geometry, we have to calculate 21% of this X. So because for geometry, in the given graph, we have 21%. So the number of students who are taking geometry is 21% of X. We can write this 21% as a decimal, then we get 0.21 times X. Okay, here let's consider the number of students who are taking algebra, that is 0.38x, and number of students who are taking geometry, that is 0.21x. Okay, here in these two quantities, which one is more? According to the information we have over here, there are 136 more students taking algebra than geometry. Clearly, the number of students who are taking algebra is more than the number of students who are taking geometry than 136. Since this is more than this value by 136, if I want to equate them, either I have to subtract 136 from this one, or I have to add 136 to this one. Okay, when I add 136 to this one, so this one and this one will be equal in value. Okay, now we have to solve for X in this equation, which represents the total number of students. Okay, for that, let me subtract 0.21x from both sides of the equation. Let me do it. When I do so, this positive value, negative value will cancel out. Here, I am getting 0.17x. On the right side, we get 136. Now to solve for X, I divide both sides by 0.17. When I do so, the 0.17 will cancel. X equals to, when I divide 136 by 0.17, I am getting 800. That is, there are 800 students in total. Now, let's calculate the number of students who are taking geometry in these total 800 students. Let me do this calculation separately. So here, the number of students who are taking geometry equals to 21% of the total students 800. That is 21% of the total 800. Then we get the decimal form of 21% is 0.21 times 800. Okay, now let me multiply 0.21 and 800. I am getting 168. So in the total students, 168 students are taking geometry. Okay, according to the question, we have to compare the number of students who are taking geometry and calculus. Already we got the number of students who are taking geometry, that is 168. Now we have to get the number of students who are taking calculus. So from the given figure, 16% of the students are taking calculus. So to get the number of students who are taking calculus, we have to calculate 16% of the total students, 800. Okay, now let me calculate the number of students who are taking calculus. That is 16% of 800. Let me do it. And we can write this one as a decimal, then we get 0.16 times 800. Okay, now let me multiply these two values. It is 0.16 times 800. I'm getting 128. Okay, let me write it. Okay, here I got the number of students who are taking geometry, that is 168, and the number of students who are taking calculus, that is 128. Okay, our aim is to find how many more students are taking geometry than calculus. For that, we have to get the difference between these two values. So clearly, the difference between 168 and 128 is 40. That is, there are 40 more students taking geometry than calculus. The answer for this question is 40, and we find this 40 in answer choice B. The correct answer choice for this question is B.